Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to another Assassin's Creed Valhalla guide today. Again, we're hunting down the legendary creatures. I've been enjoying doing this. It's kind of giving me something to work towards since everyone else has been pretty much doing the same guides. I feel like I haven't seen too many people take on all the legendary creatures. Anyhow, we've got rid of the big bull. We've got rid of the big massive elk. And of course, we got rid of Black Shark. Today, we're going after the corpse feeders. And these guys are in Oxfordshire. You'll find them over the river in the north where the Eagle Point is just here. And pretty much be going northwest from this point until we hit a certain farm. In fact, it's a small little dwelling called Perry. You'll find some gold and some other stuff going around the edges here. But we're going to focus on these three big huge wolves. There's three things you need to know about this fight. There are three wolves and they all each have their own individual attacks. The big one is pretty powerful. If that gets hold of you out, then it's pretty much good night, as you can see. But he does a lot of parry attacks, so you should be able to defend against most of them. He will do obviously an unstoppable eventually, but yeah. The white one here is pretty fast and nimble, and out of nowhere sometimes that will do you. But it's the black one I had the most trouble with. All of a sudden it just goes and it's almost an unstoppable attack every time it does attack you. Now I was level 110, something like that, maybe 112, and it didn't really tell me what level these were, but obviously they're much higher level I still think than I was or should be facing them. I'm not too sure. This region is level 90, so maybe it's not that hard. To be fair, it did take me a good 3 or 4 attempts, but once I figured out how to do it, it was really quite simple. That doesn't mean it's still not challenging though. Pretty much you can see here I'm going for the tried and trusted method. I speak about this all the time, but using two weapons that are the same, so 2 axes or 2 daggers, and using the fast motion of holding the L1 or R1 button, or the L1 and LB button I should say, to really do rapid attacks. That builds up your adrenaline, and then you can go ahead and use your specials. Now if you get on this roof too much, you can see the grey one here, he will start doing an unstoppable attack and he normally will knock you off, so it's not viable. You also find these corpses nearby. The wolves will actually feed on these to replenish their health, particularly the skinnier middle sort of black one. Honestly, these guys are absolutely brutal and it just started to unwind for me. It wasn't working out I wanted. I couldn't concentrate on just one of them because the other two would come up in my face. Now these guys do have weak points. If you can aim properly and get a shot off, then you'll absolutely benefit because you'll be able to do a special close attack on them. Usually it's 2 on each side or 1 on each side, and once you've got the shots off, yeah, like I said, you should be able to do a slow-mo finishing move on them. But it's so hard to do that when you've got 3 of these ferocious creatures attacking you. I desperately tried pulling a shot off on this guy, but yeah, too late and that was it. It was game over for this one. Do not pet these doggos. I always try and show you some of my fails and pretty much talk through some of the methods that don't necessarily work. I tried the Mimosa, which is the poison ability that you can pick up, which you can put onto either your melee weapons or your ranged. The idea being that if you actually kill one of these with that effect on, it will leave a huge green toxic cloud around. But it's so hard pulling off some shots sometimes, and I just couldn't really get it to work that well, and I wasn't nowhere near to killing one of them. My usual method with the axes just wasn't cutting it. They were attacking me too much, so I thought, right, let's try a ranged weapon, let's try a spear and see if I can do some damage with that. And this is when I started to realise that actually, as long as you're pretty adept at dodging, so you're going to need armour that's got high evasive scores, there could be a way forward here with something like a spear. For sure, in combination with the toxic clouds that you can pretty much make. This attempt nearly failed, as you saw there, but I finally whittled away one of them, and it's the black one that I really focused on, doing nothing but just hitting up on him and hopefully trying to get a drop. You can see it creates that big toxic cloud, and now it does a lot more damage against the other wolves that are attacking. And pretty much just wail on one. You just need to be really good at dodging and kind of having awareness around you. And the big one particularly, you need to avoid his dodges and slow down time. It's one of the most overused skills that I do. You'll find it in the sort of Raven perk tree where you can slow down time when you dodge. Adds that ability, the evasive technique as well, and it's pretty decent. You'll find the mimosa down on the southwest side of it as well. So yeah, there are going to be a few times you will get caught. So there are some healing mushrooms scattered here and there around this little courtyard. You can't really jump on any fences, otherwise it says you're going out of order, out of the range, and they'll start healing. And then it was just a case of trying to whittle down both of these guys. Headshots still do great against the white wolf as well. I was doing a bunch of damage, so if you're pretty good at range class, you might want to put lots more points into that and just use that to your advantage. One more activation of my toxic cloud, and it was night, good night to the white timber wolf, and now it was time for the third big massive one. And you literally just have to wait on him. He will do his unstoppable attack from time to time, but honestly you can pretty much get out of the way of his other sort of parry ones. I tried a bunch of different abilities you saw there with the harpoon one. It wasn't working out too well, and if he does do that, you got to just get out of the way. As I said, they do tend to go for the carcasses and heal themselves a little bit, so be careful for that, and that's the one you really have to dodge out of the way. Just move multiple times, 3 or 4. He will grab you, so make sure you have got the mushrooms as much as possible. And this still was a really close fight. I tried almost pulling my wolf into the combat at some point earlier as well, and that didn't really work out too much. But there we go, we defeated all 3 of the corpse feeders. Now this was my 4th legendary kill after the elk, the bull, and of course black shuck, and I was rewarded with something, not obviously just the head. So I'll show you that as well, but obviously there are some valuables around, so might as well show you how and what you can get. The keys there hiding behind the rock or inside it. One thing I would say about this village is it's really long. Like, it makes you do some ridiculous stuff to get in some of these cottages and see if you can get any loot. Like this one, it only had a rune, but I had to move a bookcase and then shoot an arrow through the wall to climb in. That key we found in the early part, now it unlocks this cottage, but that's not the end of it. Oh no, there's some stairways and there's a wall that you've got to break through with an explosive jar. You'll find them right across the way at the opposite house. But we're not done yet. When you get into that room, the bookcase is blocking the way. I think it's just a bit overkill. I don't know who decided to do this or why. Maybe it's some inside joke, I'm not too sure. But inside you will find a nickel ingot, so not bad eventually to get that loot. Also at a little pond nearby, you'll find an opening in the cave, and you can go in here and also get some extra loot. Not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed though to find out it was just iron ore and leather. And lastly, with the useless loot, well, I wouldn't say useless, but you know, a bit of effort just to get some more iron and obviously leather, go down the well. And then finally back home, we can go to the hunter's hut and see what we get for turning in the 4th kill. I'd said earlier in another video I was pretty disappointed with some of this stuff, not getting much loot, but finally we start getting stuff. Petra's Arc, a brand new predator bow. This one's really good for the first shot, particularly obviously if you're just going around silently assassinating people from range. You'll do more critical damage when you've got full health. You can see its attack damage is much better than my Hunnish bow, but I've been using just the hunter's bow. I'm not a big fan of the predator bows, but you can see it's got 88 damage. Maybe good obviously head critical damage, but it's pretty slow and the stun on it's not great either. Just bearing in mind this is a fully upgraded superior bow, so yeah, it will get better if you increase it more. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's the best one I've had. And there we go, another legendary creature done and dusted. I'll be going after the rest of them. I might as well, I've got 4 of them done now. Let me know if you've had any trouble with any of the ones I've covered, and if you've got any top tips for them dogs, wolves, whatever. I'll see you ratbags later.